person in the lives of us who work with mothers and babies, and of course now lactating people. But she happens to have a mother who shows up, wave your hand at us, Jan, and it looks like her sister, and is always so supportive, and always has the answers. But you do get to wear the shirt. I noticed you had that on today, so yeah. I do want to also recognize my friends from Sun City West. We live in a retirement community, and they're right here. I got them a table. Maybe I knew somebody. So I have really important friends. So I have Ms. Senior Arizona 2017. And her husband, John. Retired, now wait, John, you told me what it was. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. John Burr, and his lovely wife, my walking partner, Claudia. Claudia helped, you guys don't have to clap for all these people, but you can if you want. Scott and Susan, who don't even know me, but know of me now, but Susan also breastfed 4 babies and said, party. We're going. All right, so yes. Our party planners, Mary, but more important, Joe.
Yeah, Joe!
Dr. Joe Wolfel has done so much for us to be able to promote breastfeeding in the state of California. And I don't know if Carol Melcher is here, but Carol would echo what I'm saying. Joe, without you, Mary isn't the person that can do all these things. So I just want to thank you for being that perfect person and that sidekick. But Mary, thank you. Our other party planners, Heidi, where are you, Heidi? I know you're here. There you are. Heidi, I can't even say all these names. But Heidi, Heidi, I called a couple of weeks ago and said, we had to have your help. Because she knows how to put on a party and help Nicole, and she did an awesome job. Now, where am I on my list? Denise is sitting up here trying to hide behind the post, but Denise got us the venue. Is this like the coolest place? I just felt like a party when I was coming. So, and the House of Blues. So can we give the servers just a round of applause? So Pauline, who's this nice man with you? Ron. So also the better half, right? We need partners. And you have a wonderful partner, but also the really energetic young man in those taiko drummers is their son. I was so excited, Pauline, when you said that they could come. I was just like, yes, because you felt their energy. And it's the energy we have to be able to make a difference in the world. I mean, it's just breastfeeding. And lots of people have quoted me on that. It's just breastfeeding. And it is, but there's such excitement. So thank you so much, both of you, for that generous. My own clients, my own patients, and students. Students who are the reason for my professional existence, not an interruption of my daily routine. I always have time for my students. They are the reason that I teach, is because I get my energy from them. Colleagues, supporters, Nancy, Jim, so many of you in this room I could name. And of course the coalition board. I was telling in Finwa kind of back talk about, sure they like me at board meetings. Sure they do. And then of course my professional bestie. Where are you, Rosie? My professional bestie, Rose Davina Jackowitz. And I'm going to tell a story about you and I pretty soon, but you know what, Rose? Between you and I, we made it happen. We made it happen, so thank you so much. The next generation of teachers and professionals, especially, I have now been able to put together an incredible teaching team. So Rose is on that teaching team. We have a teacher now in the Minnesota Midwestern area. Her name is Liz, and she would love to have been here. Who wants to be in Minnesota in January? Anne-Marie, you're here. Where's Anne-Marie? Woo! Anne-Marie Christian. Christina, you're here. Woo! woo, having a baby, and she still came. We love ya. Kim Bianco, where is Kim? I know she's here. And Lisa Wilson. It's amazing to be on this stage, but it's also humbling that there are so many in this room and in this profession who will come to stand with me. And it's time for some of us to move on and to do other things and let you take flight and let you be the light of the world, as I was saying today. So I am humbled by the fact that we're honoring me, and it was my idea to raise money. And then I said, who in the state of California does everybody know? And that was an easy one in breastfeeding, so that was me. I also want to honor my daughter Shannon and Eden and baby Eve. Now I do have to tell you that Eve is 3 months old, exclusively breastfed, and Shannon's looking for advice on how to get her to take a bottle because she works nights as a stroke nurse at a hospital in the Seattle area. Wow. So any of you that'd like to give free advice, you're open to that, right, Shannon? And then, of course, my Donnie. You've heard so many stories. My Donnie, who was suffering from FOMO. Because Don has had some health concerns. He had his 11th heart stent put in November. And so it's been a journey for us, and he had decided that it would be better if he stayed home, and we live in Phoenix and kind of commute back and forth. And he announced to me Thursday night that he had FOMO. And I said, okay, well, FOMO, in case you don't know, is a real psychological thing. It's a disorder. It's called fear of missing out. So Don is like a phoenix that rises from the ashes. So, and he's also the person who has taught me over the years to believe in myself. So we all need someone in our lives. If I've been that for you, then I'm excited that because what a gift that person is. And then a thank you to all of us. You all wondering how many pages I have? So the big question is she retiring? No! So what does retirement mean? You know, retirement was first used in 1533. Using the most current resources, which is Costco Connection, January 2019, on whether I should retire or not. It says right here, life after work, 5 steps to the best retirement over 30. And yeah. So in this article, they renamed retirement. Now, those of us from Sun City are going to take umbrage on this because they renamed it elderhood. Elderhood? Pick another name. And they said, now I have to thank the California board of the coalition for teaching me these things so I can do retirement because it says you have to develop a personal vision statement. Okay, I can do that. I learned that on the board. You have to develop a personal mission statement. Okay, I'm still a little fuzzy between the two, but I'm okay. You have to identify your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, and set realistic goals. I got it. So without the board experience, I wouldn't have been able to come close. But let's look at that word, retirement. It's an intransitive verb, which means to withdraw from action or danger. She'll be fine. To retreat. Nope, I'm not retreating. Not retreating. To withdraw, especially for privacy. I'm pretty sure that Dawn needs the privacy more than I need the privacy, but that sounds like a good idea. To move back or to recede. Yeah, that's it. But you know what we call that? You ladies hit it on the head. We call that weaning in our profession. So over the next year, I will be gradually weaning from university and what I do at the university. I'm not quitting. I'm not retiring. On Monday, I will be in San Jose. Anybody from San Jose? To teach a breastfeeding course. So apparently it doesn't sound like retirement. And then part of the definition of retirement was to go to bed. Now, I'm pretty sure there are several people in this room thinking, that's a good idea. So just let me have a couple of minutes. I wanted to talk very quickly. Well, let me tell you the second big question. The second big question, and I know that Lita, you do professional speaking, they always have these questions. The second big question is, well, how old is she? How old is she, really? Well, I was born on November 11th, 1950. So it's not hard math. This is my 69th year. And so that's how old I am. 69 sounds like a good idea. I was born to a family of very poor white people. We lived in a trailer, and I was the first in my family to go to college. So, as a lot of you have suffered those throws and arrows of growing up, a lot of us in this room, that's what shapes us. But I want to talk for a second about a story you may know very well, and that's the story about the tombstone. And I'm not dying either. I thought about it earlier in the year, because they thought I had lung cancer, but decided I only have coccidioidosis, which is valley fever. So I said, okay, you're not cutting my head off, you're only cutting my arm off. So, okay, I'll be fine. And when you look at a tombstone, you see two numbers. You see the birth date, and you see the date of death. But what's really, really important is the dash. And how you live your dash. So I've decided mine was, I was thinking about this, and I thought, no, mine's not a dash, it's more like Morse code. My dash is gonna look like that. So, starting out core as a small girl, my mother would read poetry to us and the Bible to us. And poetry shaped my dash. So I wanted to share just a couple of things. And one of them was a song poem written by Douglas Naylock in the late 1800s, borrowed by Dr. Martin Luther King in 1967 when he spoke at a junior high in Philadelphia. And it's called Be the Best of Whatever You Are. So I grow up with this. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. We can't all be captains. We've got to be crew. There's something for all of us here. There's big work to do. And the task you must do is near. If you can't be a highway, well then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by the size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. And that one said to me, okay. But in 1917, another poet, Edgar Guest, wrote, "It couldn't be done." And there are many, many times that I have quoted this poem to myself. And I have to tell you that I took the liberty of changing all the he's to she's. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but she with a chuckle replied that it couldn't. Maybe it couldn't, but she would be the one who wouldn't say so until she tried. So she buckled right in with a trace of a grin on her face. If she worried, she hid it. She started to sing as she tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and she did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one has done it." But she took off her coat and she took off her hat, and the first thing we knew, she'd begun it. With a lift of her chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, she started to sing as she tackled this thing that couldn't be done, and she did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesize failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that couldn't be done. and just do it. From this poem, I developed the philosophy of no doesn't mean no. It means not right now. So the quick story that I have to tell you about Rose and I is the story of the UCSD lactation program. I had just finished my graduate work at San Diego State, and I did some teaching with the childbirth education program. This was before Nicole. She probably hadn't been born yet. No. That's why I have more years than you. And I went to the leaders in lactation, and Nancy may remember this as well. I know Rose does. And I said, I've got this great idea. They have this really cool program at UCLA called the Lactation Educator Program. Now, you have to remember that 25, 30 years ago, LA and San Diego were further apart than they are today. I mean, they were. You didn't just hop in a car and drive up from San Diego. It was that 110 miles was a long ways. And so UCLA had a wonderful program, Sandra Steffes and a dear, dear colleague of mine. And so I went to these people, and I can remember them sitting on a big table and a platform, and I'm standing below, I'm looking up, and I'm trying to talk about this program and how the University of California could do this program. And Rose was sitting behind that table. And they said, oh, no, you can't do this. And I have just a teeny bit of a flash anger problem that I've dealt with over the years. And I looked at those girls, those women, and I said, I am going to do this. You can decide whether you want to be on board or not. Thank you very much. I went out of that room, stood against the wall, and just fell apart. I mean, I just sobbed. Rose called me within 24 hours and said, I'm with you, kid. We are the same age, and, well, I'm older. But our kids were little, crawling around, and, they said you couldn't do it. And I said, oh, yeah, we can. When I wanted to put the UCSD program online, the director of online education said, you can't do it. And she left the room, and I looked at Nicole and I's boss and said, why not? So just remember those things. And so you don't just seem, you got to do it. You can do it. And we can make the changes that we heard about today. The work is not done. You have lots of work to do. And then my favorite, and I want to know how many of, I'm going to tell how old you are. How many of you had a poster of the Desiderata? I bet you did. Yes, right? Who else, right? Because in that, go placidly among the noise and haste. And remember what peace there is in silence. Some of you are going, oh, I had that poster. As far as possible without surrender. Be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. And if you compare yourself with others, this is my most important statement to me, you may become vain and bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Always. Enjoy your achievement as well as your plans. Take kindly the counsel of the years. I'm kind of liking that part now. Like, bring it back, right? Gracefully surrendering the things of youth, to be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is not clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. So if you know me, and you mentioned this, I have a love of the Bible and the scriptures. And I rely on these things to also keep me lifted up and to give me guidance. And in James 1:19, we learn there's a reason we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And the recent retreat I was with the California Breastfeeding Summit, and I wish Kelly was there because she was sitting next to me. I wrote that on a card and put it in front of me. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen twice as much as you speak. Right? I do have another daughter, as you know, and she actually made the graphics, and we're very excited. She, as you also have heard, has breast cancer. She's an outlier, and we appreciate all your prayers. She's in chemo will do 5 months of chemo and then have a bilateral mastectomy and breastfed 6 kids. That is an amazing thing to me because, wait a minute, I read the data.
Yeah.
I did this. I read the data. So do keep her in your prayers. But her life verse and my life verse is Isaiah 40:31. And this gives me the energy and the strength I have. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. And then I have this on my mirror a lot, which is Matthew 6:34 and 37. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough troubles of its own. So, and who among us can add an hour to our life by worrying? So I just want to really give you some of that. And someone said to me that my skill set was giving words of inspiration. So I always borrow from somebody else, but it works. I do also, and I won't bore you because time is short and we've had a wonderful evening, is the music of my growing up. And when I was thinking about the music that shaped my life and my career, I just wanted to sing, I am woman, you're a new role. Right? I just wanted to sing that. And then I wanted to sing Time in the Bottle by Jim Croce, but whose drummer was one of my patients. It was so exciting. I was just like, whoa. So we come to the rest of the dash, and that's the Bakerisms, some of which you spoke to. The Bakerisms of pick your battles. Pick your battles. You're going to die on that hill? Christina, you've done that so well when you teach, and I'm not dying on that hill. Because we have to pick our battles, and we have to be very careful how we pick them. If it's not broken, try not to fix it so it is. I sometimes lock my hands behind my back when I'm with a client so that I just don't get in the way. Don't work harder than the client. You have to work as hard, but don't work harder than the client. It's only breastfeeding. It will be fine. And of course, the most famous, I'm doing the best I can with the information and support I have. So I want to leave you tonight with a story because I love to tell stories. That's how I teach. I love stories. You like stories?
Yes.
I'm almost done. And it's called The 12 Gifts of Birth by Charlene Constanzo. I don't know if any of you know this, and I'll have it so you can look at it. But once upon a time, a long time ago, in a land far away, when princesses and princes and royal children were born, they were given 12 special gifts. 12 wise women from the kingdom, who were also called the fairy godmothers, traveled swiftly to the castle when there was a birth. Each fairy godmother pronounced a noble gift upon the royal baby. As time went on, the wise women came to understand that the 12 royal gifts of birth belonged to every child, born anywhere at any time. They yearned to proclaim the gifts to all children, but the customs of the land did not allow it. And one day when the wise women gathered together, they made this prophecy: someday all children of the world will learn the truth about their noble inheritance. When that happens, a miracle will unfold on the kingdom of earth. Someday is now. Here is the secret that we want you to know. At that wondrous moment you were born, as you took your first breath, a great celebration was held in heaven, and 12 magnificent gifts were bestowed and granted to you. Sometimes as adults, we've lost those, and that's why I want to remind you what they are. The first gift is strength. May you remember to call upon it when you need it. The second gift is beauty. May your deeds reflect its depth. The third gift is courage. May you speak and act with confidence and use courage to follow your own path. The fourth gift is compassion. May you be gentle with yourself and with others. May you forgive those who hurt you and yourself when you make mistakes. The fifth gift is hope. Through each passage and each season, may you trust the goodness in your life. And the sixth gift is joy. May it keep your heart open and filled with light. The seventh gift is talent. May you discover your own special abilities and contribute them to a better world. The eighth gift is imagination. May it nourish your vision and dreams. The ninth gift is reverence. May you appreciate the wonder that you are and the miracle of creation and the role you have in women's lives, each one of you. The 10th gift is wisdom. Guiding your way, wisdom will lead you through knowledge to understanding. May you hear its soft voice. And the 11th gift is love. It will grow each time you give it away. The 12th gift is faith. May you believe. May we in this room believe we can make a difference. Thank you so much for honoring me.